Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Beyond Sports Podcast, where we BS about sports. Let's get into it. We had our first football game.
Yay!
All-time game.
All right, our first football game-ish.
I did watch about 5 minutes of it.
I watched some. It was decently entertaining.
It was a good game.
It was. I saw up until once I turned it on. That's the only reason it was about 5 minutes is because then we had a weather delay.
We did, yeah. It got canceled.
Until the weather delay, but like
That's
okay.
that's why it was only about 5 minutes. I turned it on late.
It went to about the attention span of most people watching the game.
Yeah, I mean, it went to perfect length.
yeah,
That Bears wide receiver, hey, number 80 Johnson or something.
Had a day.
That dude is good. Look,
that
if
dude
Caleb
definitely
can
got
get
him
that dude the ball,
appreciate it.
and you got a bunch of other people. So, the biggest thing, though, coming from that Hall of Fame game, is the new kickoffs. What does everybody think? Do we like?
I need to see more of them.
Yeah, I would like to see more of it, because like a lot of them.
We are ultimately going to have to see more before we can really make a decision.
Yes, I
but
like it.
Initial
Yes.
thoughts.
I like it. I like the idea of it being a play that you have to defend.
Yeah.
And it's a play that they're encouraging putting it. They encourage you to put it in play more than they do to kick it deep.
And to kick it out, yes. I
like
that.
I like that. I like that they're giving it a chance. If it doesn't work and you have it seems like it's gonna be safer.
Yes.
Yeah, Is it perfect? No, but did I like it better than what we've seen the last few years? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something happening in that period of time when normally nothing happens, so it's enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Initially, I like it. Like, I mean, I'll say I don't dislike. Like, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it at all. I can see the strategy in it, and how, like, especially early on, like, there's definitely going to be teams that are bad at it.
Oh yeah.
You will be able to see who has good coaching and bad coaching, especially special teams.
But the real problem is going to come is if there's one or two teams that are really good at it. That's going to flip game.
Yes and no.
I hope we get to see that. I hope we do get to see that.
Yeah.
Now, however, what I think is eventually going to happen, and they're going to have to adjust rules. But I think what's going to happen is there's going to be one too many returns for a kickoff this year, even maybe just the first one, and people are going to lose their minds and just start kicking it out of the back.
Maybe. We'll see how well it goes.
I really want to see the metrics on what's the real difference in getting points between starting on the 30 versus starting on, say, the 15 if you make the play.
I don't think they're going to start out on the 15 too often.
Not like the tackles I saw last night. Like, dudes were coming free.
Yeah, but
that's part of the reason I liked it, and part of the reason I was like, is this really safer? Because on every one of those plays, at least one dude came free, and the runner didn't see him. Like, the runner's getting blindsided.
That's why I mentioned that I want to see more of it, because this is the Hall of Fame game. It's the very first game of
these aren't necessarily representative of the top.
Yeah, I want to see. I like what I see the concept of it in person, but I think that it could be something that we all like more once we see experts out there.
I mean, the biggest complaints I've heard on it so far are really, they're not even like practical complaints. They're all just like, oh, it looks weird. And you're like, yeah, I know it's different. It's definitely different, and it'll take some getting used to. But I think as far as like, you actually get some action out of it.
It's not a waste of your time.
It's not, So I think if you at least get more teams, kicking within the strike zone, whatever that is, right?
The landing zone, yeah.
The landing zone. Thank you, Tim. Then it's positive, right? Even if it doesn't result in more touchdowns, who cares, right? Or a higher percent. I hope that it really doesn't result in a higher percentage of touchdowns
I do.
kickoff returns, but I hope we see more kickoff returns and thus more touchdowns because of that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I don't want to see it get busted. I don't want to see this year that somebody break the record. I don't want to see somebody set an NFL record. That'd be the worst thing that could possibly happen.
I think if one or two teams are really good at it, that's perfect, actually. I think that's kind of what you're going for. If you can have one or two teams be really good at it, then everybody's like, ooh, how are they doing it? They try to maybe emulate them. Teams will figure it out too, right? Teams will, it's the NFL. They'll learn how to stop things. But I think if you have those one or two, then it's not busted. Now, if you have like, half the league is just like, every other game they're scoring, they're having a kick return. Okay, now we have to adjust things, right?
Yeah.
But if it's one or two teams that are really good at it, now you just have to kind of figure out how they're doing it. And they can just be, hey, this is the thing we're really good at, right? Some teams are good at the deep ball, other teams are shit. We're good at this, It's
Well, what the part I was talking about with like having to adjust rules wasn't like if they're returning too many. The part I think they're going to have to adjust is how far the ball will come out if you kick it out of the bag, because I think that's going to become the norm.
You may have to bring it to the 35. Yes.
Yeah, 35. Maybe even 40.
Maybe people have talked about that, and that's something you can definitely adjust very easily in the offseason.
Why not treat it the same as kicking it out of bounds to the sideline on a kickoff?
Go to the 40. Yeah, maybe they do if they really want to force the issue of making this play happen.
Yeah, but the most the best criticism I saw of it that really I think is true is if you close your eyes for the first 2 seconds of that kickoff, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Another thing I kind of want to think about is,
so that's not the first 2 seconds. It's not.
I mean, it looks exactly the same as the old one.
You have a game that's 14-10.
Oh, that's a problem.
14-10 with a minute 47 left. That kickoff, those 5 yards are gonna be different. So now you're those 5 yards are gonna be worth more at that point in time than they are earlier in a game too. So teams are gonna probably put that in play down there, so you have a chance to see a dynamic play there. I don't know. This kickoff thing could be fun.
I think it'll be fun.
I mean, it's gonna take some games and some data for teams to figure this out. But the one thing I truly believe about it is that one or two teams are gonna have something are just gonna have a huge advantage.
Watch for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
Chiefs could have a good chance.
Dave Tobe,
Andy Reid and Dave Tobe
all over this shit.
We love special teams. But I think if nothing else, we're taking
also
a play.
The Chargers as well.
We're taking a play.
Good special teams guys.
That's kind of their background. At least it's John's background.
Yeah, the 49ers had a good special teams when he was there, other than Kyle Williams not being able to catch on a punt.
Can't help that always.
Yeah.
As a coach, well, sometimes. Anyways, if nothing else, we're taking a play that was fucking dead.
It was a dead play
that was so fucking boring. They were kicking it out the back of the end zone 90% of the time. Nothing was happening. I don't care if people are like, it doesn't look like a football play. I'm like, neither did the old fucking kickoff. The kickoff doesn't look anything like the rest of the game. It doesn't fit in with the game anyways. Who gives a shit if it looks a little weird? I think that once the play actually happens, once the guy catches it and they start moving, because they're not running at full speed, the blocks are happening a little slow. The blocking looks more like actual football. You usually don't get a running head start to block somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there are still some guys who get to fly around, who find the lanes to go and fly through and make those tackles, or the the returner maybe finds a lane.
The part where I think touchdowns are going to happen is because for the receiving team, it's tough. It's because you've got to watch the ball, because you can't move until your dude does or catches the ball. So you've got to kind of
that they need to figure out. You're
going to have to move and know where your man is at the same time, and I think that's where shit's going to get a little
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I think that's where the plays happen.
what we saw, the one thing we did see with this, that I think the league needs to figure out is like, blowing that whistle because the guys move too early, right? The kicking team like moves right before the guy catches the ball, or so with the XFL, there is a whistle to kick the ball, and then a whistle when the guy catches it, notifying or signifying to the kicking team that they can now move.
See, I
Right,
figured-
and then
I
of course another whistle for the play being dead. The NFL, I don't think, wanted that many whistles, so they're just letting hey players.
Teams are going to figure out a noise on the sideline.
Well, it's not. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
To go,
Like
but
something
saw
like
some
they do in hockey
flags.
to signify 10 seconds.
we did see some flags flying a little bit, or going. When guys were moving early, and how much are they going to let them get away with exactly?
Yeah.
When that part they may need to figure
Yeah.
out. Maybe they do need to introduce a whistle.
Well, and then what's the penalty? Like, what do you do?
The legal formation 5-yard penalty. You either
Yeah, I think it is. You'd have to look at
What
it.
does the 5 yards do?
add it to the end of the returns, I guess.
Okay.
That's how I would do it. Because, I mean, yeah, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Free kick, okay, cool. You have to aim for the same fucking zone.
Zone, yeah.
Right, from
Uh-huh.
5 yards further back, or
Yeah. Make it. No,
It
no.
looks
see, I
kinda weird.
think I think eventually, like, you have to add the 4th and 18 to replace the onside.
Yeah, the surprise. We can go to
I-
the surprise on
I
the
don't even-
outside
no,
kicks.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, we don't even need to
Mm.
talk about the onside kicks because they don't exist anymore. Nobody's gonna.
I mean, really, my thought is maybe they do the 4th
they
and
may as well
18
just take
for
them
any,
out because nobody's gonna do it.
any situation that's not the fourth quarter, like they have specified, have it be a 4th and 18. If you want to do it then, and then in the fourth quarter it becomes a more traditional, standard onside kick like we're used to. Fuck it.
No.
The
Just
NFL
let's get rid of it. They already with the new kickoff and this new rule they got rid of it. It's over. Nobody's gonna do
I
it.
know. I know. Well,
Like,
here,
unless there's,
just give them the choice. You can either
There's 15 seconds left in the game, yes, but
To do what?
the odds of you ever seeing one get hit, like get recovered again.
I mean, listen.
Sam,
The surprise
we don't hear
onside
you,
kick.
Sam.
The surprise onside kick happened like twice. Every other time they fucking knew it was happening because they put in a whole different hands team. They do the hands team, so it's a whole different group of people going on there. It's not catching anybody by surprise.
Yeah.
So they're just having to let you know, like, okay, Sam, you're muted. We can't hear you at all. I'm sorry. I feel like you were
There you
agreeing with me right
Yes,
there because of your
yeah.
hand. But like that's what I don't get. People are like it didn't kill it. It did not kill
No.
it. It killed the opportunity for another person to be cooler than Sean Payton. Sean Payton's one cool thing will always be there.
The only
Well,
thing
why
it
would
killed
you-
was the surprise onside kick.
Why
That
would
was
you
it.
even do that though?
I don't know, but I mean, like, this is better than what we had because we have something happening there.
I
It's not a
agree.
pee. It's not a longer pee break.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like
So-
I have nothing against the new kickoff.
Sacrifices had to be made, and Sean Payton forever being associated with one cool thing is that sacrifice.
Then, then replace it with something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's why I'm like, maybe give them the option. You can go for the 4th and 18. No, fuck 4th and 18. That's way too easy now. Pat Mahomes is like, okay, we'll always go for it.
Actually, like some stat nerds have broken it down and said 4th and 18 is the most the most equal and makeable, like the most equal thing to an onside kick.
And if we were editing it right here, those stat nerds would be Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
I don't know.
So,
well,
to try to
why-
deter you
I don't know why you're against this, man. Like we would.
I'm not.
we'd
I'm
never
not.
do that again.
I'm actually saying put it in there and just be like, you have the option to also kick.
Even then, is
onside.
that going to bring back a surprise factor? Is it going to be like the surprise? Mahomes is on the field and they're going for the 4th and 18.
Yeah, it's a whole different unit. Like
No,
it's
that
not a
doesn't
shot.
do anything for the surprise part, but it definitely makes it an exciting play again.
Okay, so we're just talking about killing the onside kick either way. Then, like the The new rule really just kills the surprise onside kick.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't-
yeah, I'm complaining about the way they did this. Like, I didn't like I didn't love the onside kick to begin with. It's not like, oh God, I want it back. No, bring it back. No, it's not like that. It's just like if you're gonna do like the NFL always
You're saying
half-ass-
get rid of it altogether,
they
right?
always half-ass this shit.
Get rid of the onside kick, and let's just find something else.
Yeah, replace it with something.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
there was definitely that. I think that they were afraid to do too much at one time, and I think that's what it is because you do still have some traditional purists out there who love the rules the way they are, and they are gonna find a way to bitch about anything. Like the kickoff was perfect, even though I didn't get it. Even though the Super Bowl had 13 opportunities for a kick return and had 0 kick return yards. The kickoff is perfectly fine, even though there's nothing happening there. Yeah, you can get a beer and not worry about missing anything after a touchdown because you have an additional minute. You know,
yeah,
like
I mean, and you can tell how neutered that play is
yeah,
now
Yeah, that-
because like, nobody's saying take the punt out of the game.
yeah. And I'll tell you what, the kickoff was what got me into watching football. I believe, like I think, like growing up with Tamarick Vanover, Dante Hall, like getting to watch Devin Hester, like. There's a lot of-
football, but it was cool. I mean, the punts also, same
I
thing.
will, but I will also say every single play I remember someone getting paralyzed on was on a kickoff.
Absolutely, it absolutely needed some altering, and I think that this year will give us an opportunity to see some cool plays. But I hopefully think that we will see less of what Sneaky brought up.
And I think like it may need some tweaking. It probably will.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely. It's the
let's not
first year
just-
of it.
Let's just not I hope it doesn't just die because it's like there's one thing that
Let's not defensive
Wrong with
pass
it.
interference challenge this, okay?
yeah
Let's not treat it like they did that, where it was just like, okay, we're gonna give it a shot. Wink, wink.
we're gonna try challenging pass interference.
We want to make sure we get the play right. Wink, wink.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We're willing to admit when we're wrong.
Yeah, you think the players have big egos? Holy shit!
Yo, dude, the fucking refs.
Yeah,
Worst thing that ever happened was the fucking fail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst thing because it was like, oh, these sons of bitches got fucking all the power.
I mean, they still don't. They honestly, that should be like make it a full-time job and give them more benefits. Make sure that they can actually like spend their entire lives paying attention to football and not. There's a lot of things with the refs that
Yeah, no, I agree.
maybe they should have got more of. Anyways, different topic.
Oh,
I think the NBA is the only one that has full-time refs, and those
You
guys.
should have full-time refs. What the fuck are we doing? You were the
But look at the NBA playoffs. They were full of like questions about the refereeing. They don't do a better job just because they're full time.
Yeah.
They were that they didn't do a great job. They're still people
fine. They did
NBA
better
fans
than-
are still questioning the calls in those games.
No, they
Throughout the whole postseason.
seem like they do fine.
so
They are terrible.
I have the rules from the new kickoffs pulled up, and I didn't realize it, but the safety kick has changed too. So
The what?
Like the kickoff after a safety,
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
it's literally just
Not a punt,
the new
yeah.
kickoff, except for you can either punt or use a tee.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So there's
There's always a
still the
punt before.
setup area, and then there's still a landing zone. So
Is it still all the same?
they're probably
Is
going to
still-
kick it off of a tee now. To make
So
sure
it
that they
took
get
away. It took away the advantage after having a safety,
I
like
mean,
the
you
kickoff.
still get the ball
advantage.
back. So
You still get the ball back, but it used to be that the team had to punt it to you, and you usually got better field position
yeah, now it's just
from your
because
kickoff.
they now have the landing zone still and the setup zone. So they're giving them the chance to kick it off a tee, I guess, to ensure that they landed in the landing zone. So
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is because I was like, before that one, you kind of actually got a good amount of returns on it after a touchdown.
yeah, because
I don't know if I agree with-
yeah.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say, like,
That one.
And it's further back.
The consequences for giving up a safety were probably like the worst consequence in football.
Yeah, well, other than fumbling out of the back of the end zone. Yeah, I agree with you.
No,
But
because
it's
even then,
humbling.
you don't necessarily like
You don't get points. Like
Yeah,
nobody
like,
gets points
you're-
from it.
you're in great field position and you don't give up points.
You give them the ball. You give them the ball at the
Yeah,
fucking.
at their own 20.
Same with the
But you
safety.
just lost a touchdown. It sucks.
Same with
they
the
both suck.
safety. It's like you gave up points and the ball.
Yeah.
You're giving them the ball back.
You
and
theoretically gave up the touchdown. Like
Oh, you were at the 1 yard line. That's the most embarrassing
that's not
fumble.
the
Of
only
your,
place that happens.
that is the most embarrassing fumble of your career. Okay, out of the back of the end zone. That's the worst fumble you can have.
I mean, if you're at
Other
the
than-
one, yes, but like the
other than a
fumbling-
return for a
fumbling out of the
touchdown.
end zone doesn't always happen at the one.
Most of the time. It happens close enough down to the goal line that it would feel like a.
I mean, it does usually happen when assholes are stretching out with the ball.
Yeah. I guess the worst would be dropping the ball at the 1 yard line. Being that asshole, Deshaun Jackson.
Hey, guess who sucks in the Bills camp?
But he
MVS.
deserves more credit. He
MVS.
deserves more credit for his run with the Chiefs.
Who sucks?
MVS.
MVS.
Yeah, he's not. having it.
Apparently he's borderline whether he's going to make the team or not.
Yeah, I heard he's working exclusively with the second team.
Thank
I-
you for the AFC Championship games.
Yeah, dude. I mean, thank you for your postseason. I mean, we'll bring you back on the vet minimum, and you can try to make our roster.
How is he not going to make that roster? They have nobody to catch the ball.
It's not true.
Okay. And also, like, I actually really love what Buffalo did at wide receiver.
But for fantasy draft purposes, I love that you believe that.
Ooh.
Now I'm going to take everybody you want.
Fantasy
hold them hostage.
I don't know who's going to be good this year. Who's going to be good in fantasy this year? You
I don't know. I haven't known for like 4 years.
Yeah, I'm not giving out any free advice this year.
got? Okay.
We
All
wouldn't,
right.
we wouldn't want you
How'd you
losing
do
to
last
Jay
year?
back again.
Hey, I'm just saying P based his number one pick off of what I said last year, so
What?
I think I was probably just a year early on it.
Did that happen? Did that happen?
Yeah, you took Bijan because I was super high on it.
I didn't take Bijan first overall. I had 2 first-round picks. Oh, I did take him with my first one. The only reason I took him is because I had 2 picks.
That's the only reason. Only reason.
Yeah, you had my pick.
No,
I was
you-
probably just a year or two early. Bijan's gonna go.
There was a whole Arthur Smith thing that got in the way of that. I should have. Fucking.
Do we
laughed.
want to talk about Tyreek getting a raise and some of these wide
Let's do
receivers?
DJ Moore first because
Oh,
then
okay.
we can do Tyreek into our topic after that.
DJ Moore. That's a
DJ.
lot of money. That's a lot of money.
The
Good for him.
Bears not gonna, you know, they could.
Good for him. I like DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore's a good player.
for you, DJ. 82 guaranteed, 110
110.
million. I mean, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all. That's nothing to turn their head up at. I mean,
We also forgot another contract to the list.
Who's that?
The offensive lineman from the Bucks.
oh yeah, Tristan
Oh,
Wirfs.
worse.
Yeah.
Reset the market.
Oh yeah, reset that. That's right.
Trent Williams is the happiest man. Is the happiest boy out there.
Ooh, Trent is.
Not yet, he's not.
Well, he has even more leverage for his. He just wants guarantees added to his. What I've heard.
I still maintain what I said, I think, last week, is that if I'm the 49ers, I would call his bluff. He's not going to sit. Not at this age.
We'll see.
You can see.
I probably not, but-
I guess he might just retire. He's made.
I mean, you got
Yeah,
him
I
for
mean, he's
what,
made his
3 more
money.
years, right? They got him for 3
Yeah.
years, I think, still. And he's already asking for.
I think that just comes down to
He is-
that just comes down to knowing the player. Like if you know that he's gonna be chomping at the bit to play football, then you call his bluff.
No. We've been
But if-
supposedly for over a week and a half been supposed to get the Brandon Ayuk contract if you listen to 49ers reporter.
Yeah, he showed up to training camp and dabbed up with Kyle Shanahan and their GM.
I mean,
But he didn't actually practice, right?
No,
Like,
he just showed up and was hugging on.
Yeah,
him.
I'm wondering if somebody didn't come in with an offer this week,
nah.
because it wasn't just Colin Cowherd. It was a few different 49ers people that I pay attention to were saying like
How
Ayuk, something was happening with Ayuk this week.
they paid Debo, right?
Yeah,
And
Not this year.
Trent,
they paid him a couple years ago
paid him-
because he did the same thing.
He's under contract.
What's that?
You're gonna have Ayuk under Christian McCaffrey's already under a pretty big contract. Then you're gonna get Trent Williams, and then Brock Purdy comes around next year. What exact? Where are they finding all this money?
I honestly think I think
They have all the money right now because they're not paying it.
Bosa.
But once
I think what Sneaky said, where there might be something involving Ayuk. I think maybe he might be on the move, more so than him.
So
staying.
yeah,
so,
I think they would move him before they move Trent, before they let Trent Williams.
right, I do
Yeah,
too.
because
you
of
have
Debo. Unless they move
Right.
Debo to keep him.
Why would you be? Look, you don't need two like top end wide receivers. You got one.
Well, unless you have a
Well, they
quarterback that
They
you
just
need.
drafted another wide receiver in the
You're-
first round this year too.
Yeah.
Who has
you're-
not been getting off the line at camp.
Has he not been amazing? Has he not looked good?
Not the videos I saw. I guess he looked better the next day, but
Well, I mean, there's
I didn't-
also some reports about Xavier Worthy not being able to get off the line sometimes.
And that was one play that he got wrecked, which is
Uh,
going to happen when you're
Oh,
100.
yeah.
It was also a big problem that he had in college too.
Oh no, it wasn't.
That's
Getting
what
off the
I was
line,
reading.
no.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
No, that dude regularly burned dudes in college. That's
Well, he burns
Sometimes,
them,
yeah.
but if he's in press, he gets pushed around.
oh, yeah, he's
Happens with Tyreek.
that's
I mean, you saw
that's just a
Tyreek.
byproduct of being small. Like sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes the corner's going to win.
Yeah.
Oh well. There's actually a major rule change that nobody really glommed onto in the NFL this week either.
what?
Speaking of this, so the NFL tightened up the rule on motion, and so like that shit that Tyreek does, where he like gets a running start.
Oh, that the rugby play?
Yeah,
Or the XFL?
they're tightening that up because you're not supposed to be able to have
Player
forward-
running. Yeah.
Forward start. You can
Yeah.
run side to side. Right.
Exactly. Tyreek was like going to the side, getting a little bit going forward,
Yeah.
like they were timing it out really well. The NFL caught that shit, and they released a statement this week and said that's going to be an automatic 15.
15.
I don't know if it's going to be no, not a 15, but like they're
Illegal motion. It's just like 5 yards or something.
Yeah. yeah, but either way, like it's all that shit's over. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
like the Dolphins and the Niners are going to get like that's a major problem for them. A lot of their offense was based on that shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe
mean-
they can adjust.
Speaking of Reek,
Ty got his money.
I tell you, you got a raise. Couple more mil a year, I
yeah,
think is what we saw. Right?
I think that's pretty good business. That's better than
Yeah.
giving it a whole new contract and
Yeah.
I think yeah, it's better for kind of both sides, honestly, because like if Tyreek's still at the top of his game by the time,
He's shown no signs of like slowing down.
yeah, because so far he hasn't really shown.
Yeah, you've done well by him, but you haven't committed past those 3 years
So-
in case because his decline could just be.
It could.
We saw it with
but-
Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, those
But if
speedy,
not,
smaller guys.
If he's still one of the top wide receivers after the next 2 years,
Yeah.
he can go out and find and re-up with whoever. So it's not bad for Tyreek,
say
right?
that
And you've already done.
One of the things I don't question with Tyreek is like whether or not to pay him that money because I know he's going to work. Like
Yeah.
he's not like whatever you think about him, he's not lazy.
I think
Oh,
there's a big
right.
difference
He-
between Tyreek though and like people like Deshaun Jackson.
He has had-
Look at his like build.
He is
Yeah.
built different on
And
the
he's
legs
so
and stuff.
fast. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's got
he's a big
muscle
dude.
on there. He put the muscle. that,
I still think it's going to be a lower body injury that ends his career. I think
I mean,
Well,
it's,
I
like
mean,
yeah.
like
it
the
usually is with those guys.
the age combined with the stress that he puts on those muscles and joints to do what he
Yeah.
does, like something's going to give there eventually.
The Dolphins may have got him
If he makes it to retirement with no major injuries, good for him. But
Good, right? But
I'd be surprised if he doesn't pop an MCL or an ACL at some point.
Yeah, I just think that if he loses enough speed, like Tyreek Hill, one thing
I was saying that 3 years ago.
his
I was
hands
like-
have never caught up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, eventually Tyreek's going to slow down, guys. He's going to start.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow, but I'm saying like
Just
by
keep
the end of
saying
this
it every
contract.
year and be Nick Wright.
he'll
Yeah.
he'll eventually slow down a little, but I mean, even a little slow Tyreek is still pretty fast, and he's a quick motherfucker as well, who's great at route running. Like we know he's not just a burner. Like we've seen him run pretty
yeah.
a lot of intermediate routes, a lot of like he can like that's the thing that makes Tyreek really good, right? Like of course we all know his blazing speed and doing that shit, but he was also like a third down option for us too many times.
He was.
Where like we
did.
needed like 4 yards and we would go to him on like a little nice out route,
The AFC Championship against the Browns. Or
Yeah.
the division.
divisional. But yeah, like so even when he loses a step speed wise, I think he's still gonna be a decent weapon for you, Like
Yeah.
still really good slot guy, still, I don't think he's just gonna fall off a cliff necessarily, but we'll see. If he has the right injury,
Yeah, well,
for sure.
one of the problems is like, yeah, you can be a good route runner, but once you like losing that top end speed tends to come at the same time as losing that little burst. Like that's what happened to Marvin Harrison too. Like he picked up an injury, and then like when he came back, he just did not have. It wasn't that he just didn't have the speed; he didn't have that little quick step to
You get the guys. Yeah.
complement his perfect route running.
It could be right. Yeah, if it's an injury, who knows, man? Like
Because
Yeah,
Marvin Harrison was a perfect route runner, but if you don't have that little pop, like it's
Yeah,
It
with
doesn't
Deshaun
matter.
Jackson, he would be pulling hamstrings, and they would just lock up on him and be out for longer each time.
yeah.
So
But again, I mean, there's just nothing that we've seen to indicate that that's happening.
yeah,
in Tyreek.
Tyreek is definitely built different than everybody we just talked about.
Which
and
should
it's like
segue right into
Why he was voted by his peers as the number one player in the
number
NFL.
one, Yeah.
Congratulations
He's
to
number
him for that.
one. Good job.
Congratulations.
Number
Right. Good job.
He was pretty excited too when he found out.
Yeah, and I mean, like, think about it. Like, what is that? We got to see what that offense was without Tyreek Hill.
Not much.
Exactly.
We got to see, Tyreek Hill really uplift a quarterback and get that quarterback paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
So good he is. He not only got himself some money, more money this offseason, he got his quarterback paid a lot of money. So good for Tyreek.
First wide receiver
number one.
ever to hit number one too.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
All
it's
right,
only
well, there you go.
14-year history of the NFL's top 100. But
Tyreek Hill is the number one player in the NFL. All right. What did that get the Dolphins?
not a quick exit in the playoffs.
They
first
lost. Okay.
wild
In the
card, right?
playoff.
They got him bullied by
Then
by
they
a
must
guy
have
not on
lost.
the list.
They must have at least lost to the number 2 player, right?
No,
No, that guy lost in the conference championship.
Yeah, that guy lost
Yeah.
in the conference. That dude lost as well. But wait, the number 1 guy didn't lose to the number 2 guy, and but the number 2 guy also lost. But
Yeah.
because the number 2 guy must have then at least lost to it was the number 3 guy then, right?
No. He also
you were
lost.
wrong again, sir.
He also lost, but he lost in the Super Bowl.
He lost this. Okay, so the number
He
3
got
guy,
to
we're
the
getting
Super
a
Bowl
little
before he
better.
lost.
We're actually seeming to get a little better each time with
Yeah.
these rankings.
But they
the-
all actually have something in common.
So
You want to know what they have in common, Sam?
did they? No. What did they all?
They
have in common?
actually all lost to the same person.
Wow. But not, the same person. 1, 2, and 3. The 3 best players
In
all
the league.
lost to the same guy
To the
in the
same guy.
playoffs.
In the playoffs. Yeah. One of them was in the Super Bowl.
What? Why wasn't that? Who is that guy? And why wasn't he number 1? It
Well,
doesn't make any
his-
sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, arguably the best player in football today. He was number 1 last year.
And he beat all of those guys, and he's not number 1 this year.
No, he
Okay, so did he do like less things then? Did he like not go as far as he did
no,
last
he
year?
actually went just as far with
Okay, you
actually
did say the number-
arguably less
The
around
number
him.
3 guy lost in the Super Bowl, which means that he lost to the number 4. That means the number 4 guy won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was the number 4 guy.
Huh. That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. And last year, the same guy won the Super Bowl. So 2
Yeah.
years in a row, the guy wins the Super Bowl, but he beats the 1, 2, and 3 guy, but he's not the number 1 guy.
And last year he
Not-
was only rated number 3. He was rated number 3 on this list, so he went
Oh, wow.
down after winning the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
Jeez. All right. Well, I don't.
So, I was initially very upset with this list as well.
But it was for the regular season list, right?
Well, so here's the thing.
They asked the rest of the
I-
NFL players in December about this or something.
I hate I hate having to be the one to be the bad guy against your arguments all the time, Sam.
no,
but they
no, you
did.
don't. You love it.
You know, on this one I do, like, because when you hear the context, I think you're going to agree with the list.
Okay, I do appreciate you letting me going on there for a while.
No, I loved hearing it. I loved hearing it because I was in the exact same boat,
Yeah,
and I think most people are, because they don't know that the poll was taken in week 14.
in week 14, like I said, okay, it is in December.
We were smack dab in the middle of our worst stretch.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe the worst stretch of the Mahomes era. So, so if I rewind it for you, week 11 lost to the Eagles, week 12 we beat the Raiders, and then 13 and 14 lost to the Packers and the Bills. It was a
That's
bad
right.
time. And at week 14, I would say Lamar, Tyreek, and CMC were the 3 best players in the league.
That's what I thought, because they asked these players in December who is the best player, and
Yep.
not like at the end of the fucking year when everything was said and done.
Well, even if they done it, if this list was made after the playoffs, I'd have a real fucking problem. But even if this list had been made after week 17, I would have been fine with it.
And it's okay, and I think we're all okay with it,
Or week
because
18.
it's bulletin board
It is week
material
18
for
now.
Mahomes.
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah, and right after it came out, like, Mahomes tweeted something and then immediately deleted it. I don't know what it was,
Eddie
but
Mahomes.
I'm
Eddie
assuming
Mahomes.
I'm assuming he realized the same thing that because it was Mitchell Schwartz that posted about it being the poll being taken in week 14.
If he can, no, just use this, Mahomes.
Oh,
Nobody believes in you. After 2 straight, nobody believes in you. But they have to after 3. After 3, there's no possible way anybody could ever tell you.
you know, have
Yeah,
you heard of Bobby Stroop?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Mahomes' personal trainer and
Yeah.
personal hype man. Yeah, he
Right.
takes care of all of this. Bobby Stroop aggregates all of this shit for Patrick. Like it's literally part of his training regimen.
Put some of it out there,
Yeah,
actually. He probably creates some of it.
maybe.
Whatever you got to do.
Like if we're gonna let Michael Jordan do the things that he did to fucking get mad at people, like
Joking Mahomes.
Hey.
I think Michael Jordan probably invented entire stories about people in his head to motivate himself.
That motherfucker.
He actually said he did that. He actually,
right.
in The Last Dance, admitted to doing that.
There you go.
It's
So, yeah.
fantastic.
Let's,
Yeah.
Eddie Mahomes.
Thank them.
But yeah, what was funny about that was the league-wide reaction was exactly the same. It was like, why would you do this for Patrick?
Yeah.
He's already motivated by going for 3 in a row, and now we're gonna say he's only the 4th best. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mina Kimes was like,
Dang.
no.
Stop doing this.
Yeah. And man, with the wide receivers we have this year too. Oh,
It could
I
get scary.
wanted to go scorch earth.
It could get scary times.
Hollywood Brown is not fucking slow either. We have 2 Scorchers.
I just wanted to
Hollywood-
burn it all down. Just
Dude,
like
Hollywood's
going
gonna be good. I like the idea of him in the slot. He's always been a
Well, I think
Mm-hmm.
Rashee Rice was top 5 in Yak.
dude. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be dope.
Be very nice.
I mean, I like them all across the field.
Like, really,
honestly.
guys, really, just soak in how you feel about the wide receivers now versus the 2 previous years.
Yeah.
The hope in your heart. You have not felt this since you had Tyreek Hill.
That's true. It's true.
We get to see all of Patrick Mahomes' throwing
Amen.
ability again.
We're gonna see deep balls. We're gonna
See
but
deep balls get
before-
completed. I hope.
Before we completely move on from the NFL's top 10 and all that, the Chiefs did have 3 players in the top 10.
They did, and then
Did
3
that.
they should have been.
No.
Yeah, Chris Jones 6, Travis Kelsey 9, and I mean even Travis Kelsey on a little bit of a down year, still way up there, right?
Yeah, as he should be. As
As
he
he should
damn
be.
well should be.
As you see it when the lights get brightest and it's the most important, man has not lost it.
No,
Man turns it
Travis
on.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Still drives me nuts though that Snead nor McDuffie made the top 100.
Yeah, that's stupid.
The best corner in the league doesn't make
2 of the best corners.
whatever. Yeah.
I'm
neither
sad.
of them.
I'm sad for Snead. He's not on our team anymore. He deserves he's never gonna get if he didn't get that recognition on our team, he's sure as hell not gonna get it in Tennessee.
You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah,
I'm low key happy that it didn't happen for McDuffie. I want to keep him motivated,
Keep him
keep him working.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, not give him that idea that he deserves top cornerback.
Well, and, hey, if we're gonna be fair, he's a slot specialist. Like, I'm not saying like a slot specialist can't be top 100, but
It definitely.
McDuffie.
yeah,
McDuffie did.
You can lock down the
Well, no,
outside.
McDuffie just learned how to play slot. He came into the league as an outside corner. Last year was his first year playing inside. He learned from. I know he's only
we started him playing slot.
no, because he actually talked about it, making the transition to doing it more.
He might be doing it more, but like that's what he was initially brought in to do, because he doesn't have straight line speed.
No.
Well, either way, you play either one. Seems really good at him.
No, see when it like
And you should have been top 100.
the way it'll play out with McDuffie, because he is the number 1 corner, but it's when we only have 2 corners on the field, like he'll be one of them.
Yeah.
But when we have 3 corners on the field, he's probably going to be the slot guy.
Yeah, that's because that's where you're gonna get them on third down. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
regardless of the
most important
like, he
He
doesn't
like
have
blitzing,
he doesn't
so
have
that's
he doesn't,
weird.
he doesn't have the top end speed, but he has the fucking skill. Like
He has the hip movement. That's what
he's
it
by
is.
far the most talented corner on the roster.
The little bulldog. He's from Washington, dude. Washington just produces corners.
Yeah, I mean he's a magnet to the ball. Like
Some
he's very
schools
deep-
produce
very
wide
good
receivers.
at ball tracking.
Some schools produce wide receivers. Some produce quarterbacks. Some produce D-backs. Washington's a cornerback school.
Do we want to just get into the Chiefs camp here? Go down,
I mean, we're kind of already there.
right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
might as well.
Right. Some interesting things with Chiefs camp this week. John Gruden showed up for some reason. Nobody knows why. We're in a bunch of Chiefs stuff, but we're gonna hope he just clears out of there quick. You know, it was a day he stopped by to see his. Well, if him and Andy go way back, I'm sure Andy was just doing a professional favor, and then you'll see him on his way out.
Well,
and
Gruden
that,
could go way back to where the fuck he came from.
yeah,
Away
right.
from my team.
Why are we talking
So-
about a racist uncle, guys? Let's just ignore
Yes.
the racist uncle.
Yeah, right. let's just
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I hope this is not in any kind of official capacity.
No, I
Mm.
hope not.
Mm-mm. God, I hope not. We
Not
don't
the
need
kind
it.
of press we want.
We don't need it. We don't need
Not
it.
after this offseason.
We don't need it.
We don't need
Get 'em
him
out.
and Harrison Butker on the same team.
Oh no.
Shitballing ideas.
Oh boy.
I definitely don't want any goddamn input from
We don't
Agreed.
need it.
Jesus Christ.
No, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he wasn't even that great of a head coach. I don't get it.
I mean, maybe Gruden was just like at home and he had like a special play that he came up with that he had to share with somebody.
And
Oh,
Andy's like, I'll take
okay,
him
no.
from anywhere. I'll get ideas from anywhere.
He was-
That's Andy's
he-
motto.
He had our guys run it just to humor him, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it didn't work, John. Now get the hell out. All right.
Well, it's the same as the ring around the rosy, except you spin the other way this time.
John probably like, well, if you didn't have Carson Wentz running it, okay, which can get us to the next topic. Do we think Carson Wentz is going to be a good backup? He looks okay in camp so far, right?
Listen, let that dude sneak. It's clear that it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if defenses know the sneak is coming.
That's true.
Okay, you're right. You can either do it or you can't.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz can do it.
Mm.
So how about on these obvious sneak downs, we bring Carson in because we're so afraid that Mahomes is going to get his knee dislocated again.
It's not a
I'm not
terrible
opposed
idea.
to that, but I would like to counter with not putting Carson Wentz on the football field unnecessarily.
My
That's why
biggest,
I love you, man. You're always thinking.
my biggest counter is I don't want to take the best player off the field.
That too,
Exactly.
but
Or
also my
have
thought
its
is
hands.
anytime Carson Wentz touches the football,
And-
you can turn it over.
We did
And
see
there's a non-zero chance that he audibles out into some fucking bullshit.
do not give him that
Bullshit,
power.
he would do
Do not
that.
give him that power.
Yeah,
Do
okay.
not give him the power.
I've been talked out of my position.
Andy Reid should be like to tell the rest of the offense there no audibles. This is the play. You have to do this. There is no checking to a different no.
Yeah, as a matter, if I could go back in time and beat that version of myself that said that to death, I would.
Yeah, because we saw him like the Super Bowl, right? Like
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever said.
that isn't smart. We saw in the Super Bowl like 4th and 1, and Mahomes just kept the ball and found a way to.
I know he can do it. We all know he can do it. Andy doesn't believe he can do it anymore
He
because
doesn't believe he can do the true quarterback sneak. Not like in the Super Bowl where it was like a little option-y type of play, right? Where he kicked out, you know what I mean, on 4th and 1. But he doesn't think he can do the like straight ahead smash into the ass of your center and
he can. He did it all the time up until that dislocated knee.
yeah, and we don't want to risk that again. We just don't want to risk it.
It's a fluke play.
Maybe.
You act like he has a trick knee or something. Like he just got landed on wrong.
They said he kind of does. Like he has a weird how his knees are kind of. He's more prone to that type of injury.
Is he?
That's what I
That
hear.
is what they were saying. I recall that.
That's what they were saying when it
It's
happened.
up quite a few times since, and no dislocated knee.
Well, look, man. I don't want to see my quarterback hurt. So,
Fucking just line him up for the touch
But
push. Touch
you,
push.
you know that if they did bring Wentz in for they're like, oh, we're just gonna quarterback sneak this one time. Let's just put Wentz in. Just put Wentz in. We need like 3 inches, right?
He's
It's like
definitely
14
gonna
inches.
Philip Rivers that shit.
He would fumble the fuck out of that ball. Like he would absolutely
Or throw
fumble.
It's
it
going
backwards.
going
Look
through
like
his
this.
legs. He's gonna kick it 15 yards
He would-
further back.
He would
Like,
fuck up his one
He
opportunity.
would break his arm and his ankle at the same time.
get
Yeah,
stiff armed into oblivion by a Raiders player.
He somehow twisted both ankles on the same play.
He did against
He did.
Aaron Donald, getting sacked and throwing an interception. I think with his left hand.
I remember actually being
I'm
pretty excited for the Eagles when they drafted.
there was nothing but excitement for the first 2 years, and then they gave him money, and then Carson Wentz showed up, and Nick Foles
No,
winning.
It's a difference. Like the difference between Wentz and other bad quarterbacks is just the high probability of there being calamity. Like not just a bad play, but fucking calamity.
Calamity.
That play could be the absolute,
There's no better word.
absolute disaster of all disasters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The thing
Yeah,
that
never-
Carson Wentz needs coached out of him is the hero ball mentality.
I think and Andy
Like,
could-
And this is
There are some quarterbacks that only deserve to have the Benny Hill music played over their highlights. You guys don't know.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yakety sax.
Yeah. But you know, if Andy could do that maybe, right? You've got the coach to hopefully get some of that out of him.
Unless he's bringing in
I mean-
Gruden. Just kidding.
Boy.
I just don't know.
What?
I think that he's gonna sit there and watch Patrick Mahomes do shit like that, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I can do those exact same things," and he cannot do those exact same things.
No.
Who was it we had last year? Bortles?
No, it was Blaine Gabbert, so same thing.
Gabbert. So yes, let
Synapticine.
Carson Wentz's reign be exactly like Gabbert's.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the
He's
sideline, invisible on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Good job in that week 2 preseason game, buddy.
Yeah.
Collect your check and get the fuck out.
Mhm.
Yep.
Get your check, get your ring.
Dude.
Out the
You're right. Hey, great. Carson can get a ring.
Carson's
for-
gonna have 2 rings that he didn't get.
Right, baby.
Hey,
Oh
Unless we trade
man,
him halfway
you
through
know,
the
hey,
season.
that's good. That's a good insurance policy. Like,
Mhm.
who's gonna trade for Carson Wentz at this stage?
I don't know.
no, I'm talking about like if he goes broke, he's gonna have 2 Super Bowl rings.
No. I know what you were talking. I was talking about Tim made this silly comment. He's like, we could trade him at mid-season.
I
"No, we
said
didn't trade him."
unless we trade him.
No. Like if that was even a thing, you wouldn't even get like a cash trade for.
Hey, maybe people see that Andy's made him look pretty good in the preseason. And
What
people
would-
are like, hey, we might need this fella.
They
So
won't.
like I thought maybe if the Raiders, all of the Raiders quarterbacks were in a plane crash.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like a bus flipped over and like all the quarterbacks like fell out of the window.
But even then, don't you just like kind of donate out of the kindness of your heart? You donate Carson Wentz.
No.
Yeah.
Not to the
But you
Raiders.
really,
Not to the
really,
Raiders.
really deep down, you know that them actually having Carson Wentz is worse than them having a starting quarterback. Carson Wentz with nobody to learn from. He's just going out there and fucking having it his way. No competition.
Poor Raiders. I'm gonna put Carson Wentz in a box with some old scarves and some shoes that don't fit anymore, and take him on down to the Raiders camp.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Please,
to,
please, let's move on.
How about
Okay,
Rashee
the-
Rice?
His suspension. When's that happening?
So it's,
Never.
We don't know.
Like if it happens, it's not this season.
Not this season. They gotta let the legal process play
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah, it seems like they are, because like with this kind of stuff, the only time they really do suspensions mid-season is if like somebody really fucked up, like
Right.
you know,
And
a
usually
murder
mid-season.
or a gun charge or
Right.
yeah, something like that, or PEDs.
Mm, yeah.
Then they'll go ahead and implement a suspension mid-season, but
Breaking a vacuum or something.
yeah, you're right. But
Something really bad. Right.
yeah, the NFL typically doesn't like
Typically. But that
start-
roulette wheel.
They typically don't
of-
start the process after the season has already
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
So
so hopefully next season. Not this
yeah,
season.
well, and
not this
every
season.
reporter I've listened to has said like the overall feeling amongst the Chiefs is that he's not going to be suspended this season.
This season, yeah. We're gonna wait for when we're going for the 4-peat because not the
The
3-peat.
NFL wants a three-peat. They don't give a fuck about it.
Never happened. Never happened. They don't care about the 4-peat necessarily, but they need that 3-peat at some
Think
point.
of the ratings.
What?
So think of the ratings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people will hate watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah, people who don't give a fuck about football will watch because something historic is happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Chance at
somehow, it'll be the
Repeat.
refs gave the Chiefs the Super Bowl.
Who cares?
and-
We don't even pay attention to that shit no more.
No, there's tons and tons of people whose only football games in their lives they ever watched were Patriots Super Bowls.
Tom Brady and
Hear
shit.
that?
Now, Holmes.
And we're kind of in that stratosphere now. Not kind of, we are.
Yeah,
We're working.
and it's us now.
We've been in a lot of fucking Super.
Yeah, not only do we have Mahomes, but now with Travis Kelce, Dane Taylor Swift, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
They just
You-
handed Super Bowl, so it was like, yeah, of course. Yeah.
I hate to say this out loud. How could we get any bigger?
A three-peat.
Yeah.
Like as far as like
3-peat.
our relevance in the culture, could we get any bigger?
Yeah, we have a Hallmark movie coming out.
The Hallmark movie coming out.
A Hallmark Christmas movie. I mean, that is
Out
the
the chain.
destination for Christmas movies for.
being filmed right by my work. Well, parts
You
of it.
know?
I mean, maybe if Kamala Harris came out wearing a Chiefs cap,
Yeah.
Good, right?
but I don't think it looks too much like a MAGA cap.
It does.
As,
And then the Harrison Butker thing with it. It's
yeah.
messy.
Yeah,
It's messy. It's all messy. Anyways, we're Rice's suspension probably going to get pushed to next year is what we're really saying here, because we got to go for the 3-peat. And okay, speaking of wide receiver room as well, a
Yeah.
guy for the second year in a row whose hype is all the way up is Justin Ross. Yeah,
Justin Camp Hero Ross over here.
Justin Camp here, Ross, right? He got hurt last year, I think, before we really got to.
No.
No,
He got suspended.
he got suspended. He got suspended. That's what happened. Oh, he did that. Yeah. Well, no, that was the other. I thought that was the other. Ross, wasn't there
Justin
two?
Ross.
Ah, son of a bitch. Well, maybe he's good this year.
Hopefully. You hope. I mean, like, he's put up dazzling camp performances the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's it. I've been hyped 2 years prior for this
Same.
guy.
Same here.
So,
I'm not gonna do it.
I'm
not yet,
tapering
but
my
I
expectations.
do remember.
I'm not taking the bait. If he makes the team, that's
He always puts up flashy plays in camp, but
Yeah, but they haven't seemed to translate even over to preseason games yet. So I would
Right.
like to see him come up in preseason and be the same Justin
Anything
Ross
like
I
that.
keep hearing about and seeing camp videos of.
if he even makes the team this year, well, I mean, I guess he hasn't been making. He probably won't make the team.
well.
He made the team last year. He was on the roster almost all year.
Yeah, he was just in a practice squad.
No, he was on the active roster most of the year.
Was he?
Yeah, Justin
He was
Ross.
on the
Until he got
53.
suspended.
He was on the 53.
Until he got suspended, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He played out there quite a bit.
That's true. He did have a couple of plays, and
Wow.
there have been times where he had a couple of good plays.
Yeah, but
But-
they were just he started putting together his best performances and then the suspension came.
He had last season. He didn't.
He had that one where he kind of went up and got it.
He had 6 receptions, 11 targets, 53 yards.
Hey.
20 yards was his longest.
Well, it was like right before he got suspended, he had his highest snap count, is what it was. He had
Mm.
Most snaps he played was the game before the suspension came down, or the
Oh,
stuff came out about him.
That was probably
Let's
against
see
the
if he can make the
Chargers.
team again.
Yeah.
Do we think he can make the team again? Last year's wide receiver room a lot weaker than this year's.
I do think that he still possesses the same qualities that helped him make the team last year. That he stands out because he's the most physically imposing receiver.
So
We got-
Justin Ross is really competing for one of two spots
Yeah.
because the top 4 spots are locked.
Yeah.
We got Hollywood, Worthy, Rice,
Watson.
and Watson, right? And we think those are solidly locked up.
I think
Um,
Nicole's
and then-
pretty much locked up.
maybe
Honestly, I think Tony is more locked up than me, Cole, because we're financially committed to Tony.
we're probably not going to carry
Brett
more than
Veach
6
lo-
wide receivers.
Brett
Probably
Veach loves Nicole Hardman.
Probably not going to
Yeah,
carry
that's,
7.
but that's kind of where I'm at. Like the sixth guy, and it's probably going to be 6. Like, what's the difference between this guy and that guy?
Right. He's gonna have to.
Tony,
Like, I don't know. He's gonna have to be like real good.
Justin Ross, I don't see making the team because he
I don't know.
doesn't possess any versatility. He's not a special teams player. And with Hardman, Tony, and Watson, we see those 3 guys right there can all play on the special teams.
Of all the guys that could get that 6th spot, Justin Ross is by far the riskiest one to give it to.
Yeah.
Because you've got
Probably not going to
you've got Mecole Hardman, who knows the offense. You know exactly what you have in him.
Yeah.
You've got Nico Remigio, who is a little bit younger, does not have the injury history that a Justin Ross has.
Or the
and-
arrest record.
Or the arrest record, and also has a ton of upside. So I think you're more likely to see one of those guys get it than Justin Ross, unless Justin Ross is just outperforming these guys. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if Justin Ross goes out there schooling it, but yeah, I do think. I think,
Okay.
like you said, we're probably locked in.
probably
He
not.
can make the practice squad.
Yeah, he could be stored on the practice squad yet again.
you guys know how I felt about Justin Ross the past 2 years.
Same, I was right there with you.
Very excited.
Huge Justin Ross fan.
But at this point, I think he'd be my 3rd choice for that last slot.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think Nicole and Tony, but I don't. I'd like to see Tony.
And
go.
I don't love that we're kind of locked to Tony, but like,
And what about
Veach isn't going to eat that $2 million unless somebody like really pushes him off the squad.
Yeah,
Reese
Yeah.
Zamek? What about our rugby guy? Do you think
I
he's
think-
made? He's
we can.
I don't
think
know.
we
I
can
haven't
stack-
heard anything out of him since the first day of padded practice, where he was kind of having a rough time.
yeah. It
I
seemed like
think
the
that
Pats
because
did
he's
it.
coming from the foreign, I think he's protected in the practice squad region. You can stash him for a year.
We didn't protect. No, we didn't use our 1 protection thing on him, right? We used that on a different player. I thought.
Oh,
No, I think it's on Zaman.
I thought we designated that to a different player when we first got it. Or
But you can switch it around, like it doesn't.
okay. I mean, if we can.
that would be my assumption, is that we would protect him and let him sit in the system and see what he develops into over a year or 2.
You've got to learn how to play with the pads.
Yeah, it's a
lot
different, little bit different game.
Very different. Yeah.
Stamina's got to be redistributed in different ways.
Yeah, like a lot of the ways you get hit in the NFL are 100% illegal in Aussie rules football or rugby or any of those.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's some types of contact that he has not taken before. At least
That'd
not
be
on a regular basis.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see.
Well,
But
so there's Chiefs camp. Anything else? That you guys want to? The Chiefs. game?
the Chiefs, I mean,
I think we talked last week about the left tackle situation.
Right, and there's an open competition for the number 2 corner. Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
well, we
But,
really haven't seen him
that's like not due to like
Let's.
mediocrity. That's because like it's a real fucking competition.
good.
Let's that is yes yeah no that is we do have some young really good corners I think and
That's the one thing I just don't worry about the defensive back situation in Kansas City. There's been no
Right.
reason to ever.
okay
Like
yeah,
we're just
not
we're,
really
we're a DB factory.
we are and
What
then we
was this
just ship them off so I'm not too worried. I think we'll be okay.
I wouldn't say ever. Like those fucking Dirty Dan years were.
The Bob Sutton years.
Yeah.
I was like, there were some times.
But
Yeah, I should rephrase that with Spags. I don't
with
really like it.
Spags.
Spags, we trust him. In Spags, we trust.
That's right.
That's your moment. Oh,
Okay, so maybe we have some good debates now. Of we can stick with football and then maybe go Should Eli Manning be a first ballot Hall of Famer? We know he's probably going to make it in the Hall of Fame. But this is the first year he's now eligible. Do we think he's getting it?
What are we talking about?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yes, first ballot.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely
He
a
has the
first.
same playoff. He has the same playoff passer rating as Peyton Manning.
That is funny.
He
But a
has
first ballot Hall of Famer?
he has 2 Super
doesn't
Bowl
have-
MVPs, right? No, he didn't get
Yeah,
to put MVP in both of them, did he? Yeah, he did.
I think he may have. He didn't.
He has 2 Super Bowl wins. I'm not saying
Yeah,
give it to Nick Foles, but he got
He
2
didn't
Super Bowl.
exactly have the
It's not even that he
regular
has-
season resume of a Peyton Manning. He
It's-
doesn't nearly have the like. There's a bit just. Oh, he had 2 Super Bowl rings. He does, and that's great. And we'll give him his flowers.
Against
for
Tom
that.
Brady, he prevented the Patriots from going fucking perfect.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
If that was the only one that he won, he would still be a first ballot.
He's
He's
stopped
getting in because of
perfection.
that.
he's
first ballot.
getting in because of these things. I don't know if he should be a first ballot. He probably will be because of his name alone. I don't know if he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
That's not fair.
I don't
Archie Manning
think he
isn't
should.
even a Hall of Famer, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Archie? Did Archie get in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Archie
Yeah.
got in. Peyton Manning was like
Okay.
right away. Which is of course Peyton Manning's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, absolutely, 1,000%. Eli Manning, that's a guy who maybe should have to wait a little bit of time. Like, let's not act like this is one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? This isn't some legend of the game who are going to be studying his film for
There's
years
different.
to come. Like,
There's obviously different reasons people get in.
yes, and I'm not saying he shouldn't get in. I'm saying not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, there's a lot of guys who don't get in as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
Yeah.
Antonio Gates didn't get in last year in his first time around. Like, and he's a phenomenal tight end. I would say Antonio Gates was a better tight end than Eli Manning was a quarterback. Doesn't just mean you get in because you are a Hall of Famer. First ballot is reserved for like the greats of the greats, right? I don't know what you guys are both looking up over there, but it's gotta be
Archie's not in the NFL Hall of
Archie Manning's not a Hall of Famer.
He's in the College Football Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Pro Football Hall of
He's
Fame.
got to be in the Saints Hall of Fame, obviously.
He's in the Saints Hall of Fame, but he's not in NFL
They
Hall
didn't
the
put
Pro
Archie
Football.
in. They didn't put Archie.
That's
in
why I
there.
asked that question. I was like, I don't think Archie's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And according to Wikipedia, Archie Manning is not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Could have sworn he was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I would have
Saints,
too. I would
Ring
have
of
been
Honor.
like,
I-
yeah, Archie Manning.
It sounded a
Well, fuck me. Okay. Well, anyway.
He's also
Eli-
in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and the Greater New Orleans Sports Hall of Fame.
So Eli is currently, and this is not like he would have retired in 9th place. Well, no, never mind. No, he's in. So he still holds 10th place all time passing yards.
Who?
Eli. How many touchdowns? No, not that. Passing touchdowns. 10th in passing touchdowns. And again, 2 Super Bowls.
Huh?
Once beating what was probably the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, no, he did. He did phenomenal in those 2 runs. Outside of those 2 runs, he never won a
No,
playoff
outside of those-
game.
Yeah,
And
never won a
he
playoff
was
game
a
outside of those 2
500
runs.
quarterback.
Such a crazy I get where people come from. It's not like it's
I
not
don't
like
understand-
it's not like I don't see why he shouldn't be.
I don't understand why he should be.
The magnitude of those wins is enough.
I don't for a first ballot Hall of Fame. The magnitude of those wins is enough to push him to the Hall of
with
Fame.
combined with being 10th all time in passing yards and touchdowns.
is enough to make him a Hall of Famer. It's not enough to make you a first ballot Hall of Famer.
On the class he's up against next year, yeah, it is. Because a lot of it's that too. Like, who's on your ballot that year?
I don't, I'd have to see
hard.
everybody else who is, but
It's a weak class next year.
it can't be
Like
that weak.
It is. It's very weak.
Not so weak. We're gonna get.
I'm pretty sure he's like, other than Jared, this might have been Jared Allen's first year. But other than Jared Allen, like
Jared Allen is Jared Allen a Hall of Famer?
I think he's very borderline if he gets
He's a
in.
very borderline player.
Like he's another one that will get in because there's just not anybody.
He had double-digit sacks in like 7 straight seasons, though, so that could be enough to propel him there. Plus, he led the league in sacks.
Yeah, but I think if you weren't
Defensive
He's
player
been
of the
on
year.
better teams,
if
maybe.
you weren't a Chiefs or Vikings fan, you probably just don't remember who that is.
Yeah, the playoff success really hurt him. I mean,
Because that dude was on some really bad Chiefs teams.
he was on some
Very
terrible
bad
teams,
Chiefs.
and outside of the Favre years, he was on some shitty Vikings teams.
Shitty Vikings.
He was on the Panthers team that went to the Super Bowl.
But I like. Come on, man. You get to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer. You got to be like an all-time great. I think
I get
you
the
gotta-
sentiment.
you got to be like one of the best at
Yeah,
your position.
I don't like the whole baseball thing of like maybe we just won't vote anybody in. Fuck you.
Nobody's
I
saying
hate
that. Nobody's going there. It's a different.
So well,
standards.
but what you're saying is don't vote him in because why?
If he's
There's probably other people who have been waiting. There's probably a lot of other people who've been waiting a long time. That need to
but
get
they
in.
beat the best team.
There are, but none of
Particular
them.
ways,
But none of them will deserve it more than Eli.
Maybe. Have
I
we
mean,
pulled up the list? Have we pulled up
Are
the
we
list?
are we just not voting in Eli Manning so he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, or do you not think he's I mean, if you think he's a Hall of Famer down the road, why not just put him in now?
Yeah, because he's not first ballot. Because
I'm a total hypocrite on this.
Because you just want to be petty about it and just be like, no, you weren't that good. You were good, but not
Exactly.
that good.
That's what we do. That's what it is. That is the criteria. That's the thing. Like first ballot is reserved for only the really good ones. There's plenty of guys who will, yes, make it in eventually, but aren't going to make it in the first time around because they were not first ballot worthy. Yes, that's the whole point.
Sam, the level of purity you're trying to put on the NFL Hall of Fame is pretty
Yeah.
wild right now. I think. Like there's.
You gotta have something. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's got 2 Super Bowls. There's not
It's
a lot of dudes that have that.
Yeah, man.
Despite what you're thinking in your head, there's
Troy
not a
Aikman
lot.
doesn't need to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got 3.
What?
Like,
He was.
What? He was.
was he? He didn't need
Yeah,
to be.
of course he was.
He certainly did not need to be. Do we know this for a fact? Do we know that Troy Aikman was a first ballot Hall of Famer? Do we know that?
If he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'll shoot myself in the head on camera.
Well, he shouldn't have been. I'm going to tell you that right
That's-
now.
why?
We need some standards. Is all I'm saying. Is what I'm saying. We need some standards. That shit needs to mean something.
He was
So
a
what
first
are there-
ballot
you just
Hall
give
of
it to
Famer,
him?
Are there what 5 guys ever who
He was
deserve
the
the
first ballot Hall of Famer.
Do what?
He
was
was
first
first ballot.
Of
It
course he
doesn't mean
was.
anything.
Everybody
It
on
doesn't
that
mean
offense is first ballot. My God.
It doesn't mean nothing.
So okay,
Patrick Mahomes is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Emmett
It's like,
Smith
meh.
not first
Yeah,
ballot.
of course he is because
Emmett Smith
he
not
was
first
kind of
ballot.
good.
I'm going to hear you say it. Emmett Smith not first ballot.
I didn't. Why would I say that? Why would I say Emmett Smith isn't?
I'm talking about the same fucking team.
Who cares about the team?
The
Yes,
same
and there's
accomplishment.
different people on. There are
Alright, go
different. Have you seen Troy Aikman's numbers? Have you seen Troy Aikman's numbers? And you're gonna try to compare that to Emmett Smith. You think out of Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin, and Troy Aikman, I'm gonna tell you who the least important was there. It was Troy Aikman. It was Troy Aikman getting the help of having an incredibly good offense around him. Have you seen some of Troy Aikman's numbers?
Hey,
They
I'm
are
going to
awful.
agree with you and tell you how stupid I sound, okay? Because
Right.
Emmett Smith fucking retired with the most rushing yards of all time. So I know how stupid I sound. Fuck you.
There are different. They were on the same team. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is on the same team as McCole Hardman. It doesn't mean they're anywhere near.
Okay, so
Hardman got the game-winning touchdown
we
pass.
let
Don't you
Jim
think
Harbaugh,
this was
quarterback those teams, and the same thing
kidding,
happened.
Sam.
Just like, what are we doing?
We let
Steve?
we'll let Bubby Brister quarterback those teams, and the same thing happens. Okay. Troy Aikman had
Maybe.
nothing.
I'm just saying, if Warren Moon
I'm
was
just
their
saying, a lot
quarterback,
of smart
at
football
that same
people
time,
fucking
if
disagree with
Warren
you.
Moon was their quarterback and Troy Aikman was where the fuck else ever, Warren Moon has 3 Super Bowl rings and Troy Aikman has none.
Oh,
I
but,
can't.
but,
I
but,
cannot believe
here's
you
the
thought
thing.
that
Like,
Troy
you have to be
Aikman
able
would
to
not
put
be a
ego
first ballot
aside.
Hall of Famer. Like,
Why?
what's the criteria for being a first ballot Hall of Famer, Sam?
Being one of the best at your positions ever, maybe. I don't know. Like,
Bro is so clutch.
So the rings count or they don't?
I mean, they count to an extent. They're a part of it, just like everything else. We have to take in the whole
Listen.
picture of a guy's legacy. When we look at a guy's career, a whole picture.
Yeah.
Does he have a losing record?
Okay, that's why Eli Manning
Losing record.
is going to be in Hall of Famer because of those 2 rings. Peyton Manning also has 2 rings, but Peyton Manning, if you look at his entirety of his career, oh yeah, he also has 5 league MVPs. Little different than baby brother, who has just those 2 Super Bowls, and like that is it. Outside of that, nothing.
Well,
It
baby
is-
brother didn't
It
lose.
is the most average you could be at a position. Besides those 2 playoff runs.
He was also stuck on the Giants.
Stuck on the Giants. He had fucking Super Bowl team. He had a Super Bowl defense. Like, come on. What do you mean stuck on the
What was that
Giants?
team's record in the regular season? They were a wild card that got in on the like one of the last weeks of the year.
I mean, because
They
their
were the-
defense
they were the
figured
first,
it out.
They were the first 6 seed to
Yeah.
to win
They were
a Super Bowl.
6 seed, so like
Because their defense.
they were
What,
playoffs.
you think Eli Manning was the one stopping Tom Brady in that offense during that Super Bowl and keeping that game close? Fuck no. That was
The
their
MVP award
relentless
that he
pass
received
rush.
said that his clutch abilities to not get sacked
Well,
and to find a wide open Plaxico Burress
You
on
guys,
the net.
act,
Hey.
you guys act like I'm saying that Eli Manning should be like forgotten about in the ruins of football. I'm not. I'm saying he should be a Hall of Famer. I'm just
You
saying
think-
not the first time around.
You think that was Patrick Mahomes stopping the Eagles and Niners defense or offense the last 2 years?
Yes,
That's what
I
you sound like.
I do believe that. I believe that he is. But I also see that Patrick Mahomes.
It was the
has
look in his
2
eye.
I also see that Patrick Mahomes has 2 league MVPs already, and has a 50 touchdown, 5,000 yards season. Only one other person has ever done that besides him. These are the things that can get you a first ballot Hall of Fame type consideration. Not like, well, he was like 10th all time at something. Oh, good. You were 10th
All right,
all
so-
time.
How many years has the NFL been around, Sam?
That's great. I want you to finish as like one of Drew Brees finished at like number 1 all time in yardage or something when he retired.
He did.
No.
His Super Bowl doesn't even count, so he actually finishes with 0 Super Bowls. So I put Eli in before Drew Brees.
How does his Super Bowl not count again? Why are we taking away his?
Bounty
I'm
game.
also
Bounty
gonna
game.
say, hey,
So he should have been disqualified. It should have been the Vikings in that Super Bowl.
I want to do 2 things. I want to build a bridge here. Okay, so one I want to point out it's super important. I think it's actually really important to put Eli in on the first ballot because Eli is because there's an argument also with Phillip Rivers and why isn't he going to get to the Hall of Fame? Okay,
Yes, I
didn't win 2
those 2 rings are the difference.
I
That's the
understand. I understand that those 2 rings should get Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame. I agree with that. I haven't disagreed with that.
That where I'm going to build, where I'm
it is
going
the
to build
first
the
round.
bridge is I do believe that in the Hall of Fame there needs to be another tier.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what one of those tiers is right now. You know what a legit other tier that exists right now. We don't have to create it in our head.
First ballot.
Yes, that is it right there. That is another tier already.
The only people that seem to really care that much about first ballot though are people that don't want people to get in on the first ballot. Like
Why would I not want
it
him to
doesn't
get-
really matter. Like, you
Why?
seem real fucking upset that he's gonna get in on the first ballot.
Because we need something.
No.
We need something. This is all we have.
Okay, then do something. Then actually do something.
I can't.
Like,
I don't make the rules.
Like-
All I see is that there's only one other thing that can separate when it comes to the Hall of Fame. They look at Hall of Famers and then first ballot Hall of Famers, and that's it. That's the only like. Were you put in the very first time? Were you good enough to be put in the very first time you were considered?
How about
Or did you have
Warren
to
Moon?
wait? What?
Should he have been a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Ooh,
He didn't have
that's
he
tough.
didn't earn-
Probably.
he didn't earn any.
Probably.
He didn't.
Um,
He didn't earn any rings.
Probably not.
Warren
but-
Moon,
He
unfortunately,
didn't, he
the
didn't
majority
earn
of
any
his
rings,
past-
and he didn't retire number one in any stat.
The problem is if you're supplementing his stats that he had in another league. I get where the argument comes from because in the
Well,
other he dominated
My
another.
argument comes
professional-
from I'm looking
And
at a Hall of
was
Fame monitor score.
Was he a first? Was he a
He
first?
was a
ballot?
first round ballot.
I'll remind everybody, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
True.
this is voted on. Anyway, the Hall of Fame monitor rating scale has Warren Moon at a 71.3. Eli's all the way up to an 88.37. Troy Aikman's down at 64.28. And this is just
What is
quarterbacks
this
I'm looking
thing?
at. It's just
So
all of
Eli's
them.
higher than 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. But
It's the argument of whether they should have been in the first place. I get it. The spectacle of your career.
Now, to be
is
fair,
what they-
Matt Ryan is rated a 106.05, so
Matt Ryan missed his
Matt
opportunity
Ryan,
at a first ballot Hall of
first
Fame.
ballot
with
Hall of
that.
Famer, according to these two, according to P and
Did he win a
Steven.
Super Bowl? Did Matt Ryan win that Super Bowl that he was in? Or did he lose
No.
that Super Bowl? Okay, so I don't think that that's the same criteria as Eli Manning.
No, he won an MVP. Did Eli Manning even sniff a fucking MVP? Did he ever get a fucking
Same
vote
thing.
for an MVP?
Not two
Why
Super
not?
Bowl. It's not 2 Super Bowl MVPs and 2 Super Bowl trophies. So I still think that our case
is Lamar's 2
That and,
MVPs good enough to get him into a Hall of Fame?
Probably. Lamar will probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If you're telling me that, fucking Troy Aikman.
Okay, so here's the people that
Warren
Eli
Moon.
is up against this year for first time people, anyways. He's up
He's
against
probably better than a lot of the other.
Marshawn
first time.
Lynch, who, yeah, is a great player, but is he a Marshawn Lynch? Luke Kuechly,
Okay.
Adam Vinatieri, the kicker.
Ooh, Adam Vinatieri. Yeah,
kicker.
Adam
100%.
Vinatieri is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Marshall Yonda and Terrell Suggs.
Terrell Suggs. Maybe Terrell Suggs.
Maybe
He's
Terrell
great.
Suggs gets it.
I think Terrell Suggs over Eli Manning.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
I know her.
It doesn't
think
have
Trout
to,
Suggs-
but that's not even. You don't even have to make that decision.
Chiefs
both
legend.
go.
Chiefs
Right now we
legend.
have one.
Terrell
Right now we have one
Suggs.
offensive player that I would say I would give because
Okay.
Marshawn Lynch is
Is-
dominant was for such a short
I-
period.
No, Yonda, Yonda over Eli Manning for sure.
No.
Yonda was like one of the best guards we've seen in the league.
We're not gonna put a guard in over a fucking 2-time Super Bowl champ
It's
quarterback.
not about the position you play. It shouldn't
Tell
be.
that to centers
is.
and fullbacks. Tell that to fullbacks and centers and kickers, Sam.
It's 100%
Okay.
about the positions you play.
It's not about the position you play.
When it comes to
Tell-
something
tell
like
us the
that,
people that are making the money.
guard is an
Yeah.
essential position. Like I think if you're
Guard
a
fucking
great
plays the same
guard
as a quarterback.
over a great
that long
guard
snapper
over,
that got in last
for a
year?
mediocre quarterback who had 2 really good playoff runs, maybe the guard should be put in first before that other guy who is, with exception of those 2 times, pretty average. With a guy who is
Why am I
always
defending
stellar.
Eli Manning this long?
I don't know, man, but you are. You're
But he
saying
broke my
Eli
heart
Manning.
twice in the Super Bowl, and I'll tell you what, I think that the guy deserves it. I mean, he lost less Super Bowls than Elway.
You
He
know,
lost less,
If he
he lost
is
less Super
defending
Bowls than
Eli
Peyton-
Manning,
then
something's
Peyton.
wrong.
you guys.
He lost less
Mm.
Super Bowls than Tom Brady.
Look, you know,
The guy had a very long stretch of starting NFL games without missing a beat behind a Giants offensive line that was fucking garbage. The dude could take an absolute beating on a shitty team.
No, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. Not what I'm arguing.
I don't know. For the ass whooping that he took from the Eagles every time he played them, he deserves a Hall of Fame jacket because he got up and got back.
Do we even get into the little bit of Olympics that we threw in
I
here,
don't
or
think so.
we?
We've gone
I
for an hour and a
it
half.
has been a long time.
It has been a long. We've done
We've
it.
argued for a long
We've done
time
it.
about
We
this
have.
one thing.
God, I gotta get.
We've been live for an hour and a half, boys.
We'll save that for next week. Yeah, we should probably go. I'm tired.
Sam will cause you to get emotional about the shit you hate the most. Like,
Eli Manning.
I'm over here passionately defending Eli. What the
I
You gotta
know.
get- Yeah,
Why?
We'll do it
Piece
next
of
time
shit.
too. That's the good shit. You guys, hey, who knew? Who knew? Yeah, Maverick and Jason Summers, giant Eli Manning fans, huge. I mean,
Hey,
This
if
makes
it
me
weren't for
already-
Eli Manning and Nick Foles, Tom Brady would have like fucking 10 Super Bowls, okay? So you're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm not.
You try and make an argument one time that Kellen
It'd be-
Moore put together good offenses for the Cowboys, and oh my God, he loves Jerry Jones. He's a big Cowboys fan.
Well, that one was, in our defense, it's because you have a Jerry Jones tattoo on your back that says I love Jerry Jones. So, like, in our defense, like, we have that on our side.
Did you guys like Jerry Jones' comments of like, what did he say that he's good at keeping them relevant or something? Like he just straight out said that he's been successful with that, and so he's
I'm basically a carnival barker, guys. You didn't know.
yeah. I keep us relevant.
I knew. That's why I'm not a fan of your team.
Anyway, I think we did it, boys.
I think we did.
As always. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And I do think Archie Manning did get elected in the Hall of Fame in 2021, maybe. I don't know. I found some stuff that said he did, and some I didn't see.
That would be as incredible to me as like me thinking this whole time that he was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as if I'd